Howdy tubers, welcome to America. I saw somebody do something similar to that and I liked it. I might have to steal it. So we got back from Colorado a few days ago, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our trip. I had a couple of failures, and that's what a lot of this video is going to be about. In the next one, I'm going to put together some videos here. I think there's going to be a total of 5. And I want this to be the absolute finale of this coach as far as YouTube is concerned. I want to do these videos well. I'd like to explain it well. I'd like to give a good idea of what I think it would take, or if you would be capable of building it. Top questions. I get that question a lot. People ask me, would I be able to do something like this as a carpenter, as of this, as of that? And I'd like to talk about that. So I got a video running behind me. If I kind of line this up about right, this is actually the last time right here that this truck moved under its own power, not being a motorhome. And I thought it was kind of cool. These videos are going to be kind of bittersweet, but they're sort of bittersweet in a way like a sweet and sour chicken at a Chinese place. It's bittersweet, but it's mostly just awesome. I really like this coach. There's a few things that I do a little bit different, and I'd like to make these videos about that. In this video, like I said, I'm going to talk about I had a couple of failures. The biggest one here is going to be, is that a hitch failure? This was almost a really, really bad thing, and I'm kind of ashamed to show it, but it's going to tie in extremely well with the next video. I get asked a lot, people ask this question, they want a validation from me if I think they would be able to build this. And in this particular coach, building the frame and all, there's 2 aspects of this that I think probably would be the most difficult for someone that is not a welder, not an engineer. And that is the structural engineering, and that is the structural welding, the welding of the frame, the welding like this. And that's what the next video is going to be about. We're going to actually engineer this and see why it failed. While I'm on this subject, I've got to give a shout out to a fellow. We got to Salida when this was broke. We stayed up towards Monarch Pass out of Salida to KOA. And this was broke. I did have a welder with me, but I didn't know what to do about it. And I got a hold through a few guys, a guy's phone number. And I forgot his name, and I don't have his card in front of me, but I'm going to put a picture of it up here. I called him, and for $100, he basically built me a new one of these. Of course, it should have been about a $300 project. And he knocked it out, did an excellent job, and did it cheap. And I told him I'd put his name out there, and if y'all are up in that part of the world and need some actual, we're not just talking about some kid with a wire welder. He had a sure enough fab shop with 1-inch plate in it. He is a guy that'll absolutely hook you up. So here's the trailer that we pulled. It's not very long. I believe it's a 20-foot deck plus a 5-foot ramp. But it's a really heavy built trailer. It's a 12-inch I-beam that goes all the way to the back. 1-inch, this is 1-inch flange, half-inch webby. It's got two 12,000-pound axles under it. It's got 26,000-pound tag on it. It probably weighs, I would guess it probably weighs 7,500 pounds, something like that. It's a really heavy-duty built trailer. Anyway, we had the Kubota thing over there. I don't know what it weighs, but it's about like a tank too. I had it pulled up here, and the front tires are actually on top of this. And then I had the Suburban loaded on the back. So I hadn't unhooked this yet, but you can see what's going on here. Here's the new hitch thing that he built me. I took the the actual panel hitch off the old one and put on the new one here, but this is where this bent. It bent right about here. He did a great job. You can't see it. He welded it with dual shield. So I don't have a lot of video from our trip. The first few days was a little bit stressful. When we were almost up there, we pulled over, just kind of look everything over. You need to do that every few hours. And walked around thumping tires, and I had a flat on the trailer, and I tried to air it up, and the valve stem was actually broke off. I must have run over something. It would have been hard to do, but anyway, the valve stem was off, so it was gone. And so I pulled over there and broke the tire down and put a valve stem in it, and aired the tire back up, and put it back on the trailer, and we were back on our way. Well, about 15, 20 minutes down the road, it blew out, and I guess it had been too hot or something. And we pulled over, and I was just going to take the tire off. You know, it's got dual tandems on that trailer, and it would have been fine without one tire. And I noticed my hitch was bent. Now, we weren't very far from Slida. We were probably only about 30, 45 minutes or something. And so I unloaded the Suburban. The female followed me, and we got to Slida. And then when we got to Slida, I made some phone calls, and he made this for me in a couple of days. So it just so happened I had the same size tire as a spare on my Suburban. So I had to break the tire down and put the tire on the wheel that fit the trailer. Anyway, we had, you know, it took about 3 days to get all this stuff sorted out before we started our vacation. Well, Kubota's not too happy about the altitude. Needs a turbo or something. So for those of you that were wondering about our brisket, we did actually eat it. We didn't turn it into dog food. But for cooking it on a Weber grill, we got some good smoke in it and finished it on the oven. It really turned out pretty dang good, especially for, you know, what I'd call a truck stop brisket. So here's a little vacation favorite of ours, is a cream cheese and cheddar cheese and bacon bit jalapeno cheese ball. We flour it and breadcrumb it and deep fry it. It comes out pretty dang good. Well, I still got my grease hot. I'm going to go ahead and cook our entree. All right, here's a easy favorite of mine. Popcorn shrimp, a tortilla, cheese, a little bit of lettuce, and some remoulade sauce, I think is how you pronounce that. If you've never had any of this, it's sort of a horseradishy, mayonnaise-y, sort of like a shrimp sauce, but it's more mayonnaise-y than ketchup-y. I love it. Here's the innards on one of these. They're absolutely great. Cream cheese and cheddar cheese and already cooked jalapenos, bacon. Excellent. So here is a standard Zack Life breakfast. Here we have the deluxe Zack Life breakfast. And here we have the deluxe Zack Life breakfast with blueberry pancakes. Y'all already got to see this. Here's this stupid bird. This thing ate about 10 pounds of peanuts while we were up there throwing peanuts at it. And I had a hummingbird feeder. I was trying to catch a hummingbird here. I didn't succeed. And there is a s'more kit. So it's Saturday night, and I'm out here doing this intro, and I just got a text message a few minutes ago from Jeff from J Paydirt. Jeff texted me and he goes, "Hey, you need to go watch the video I just put out." I was talking to Jeff, and he's having trouble with this Rosamaster pump on some kind of a crane thing he's got or something. And I worked on a few of those. I've had people call me. I used to do a lot more mechanic work in the field about those Rosamaster pumps, and if they sit, they won't pump fuel. And I've had really good luck. In fact, I can think of 5 times that I had somebody call me, you know, and they'd burned a starter up or something trying to get this thing to run. And you can just spray gasoline down the intake of a diesel engine, and usually they will take off and run on it. It's a little bit easier on them than using ether. I think that old thing he was working on might have been really low compression. It just didn't have enough compression. There he is again. And anyway, it didn't work out for him, but you ought to go check this video out because it's kind of funny. It's sort of like one of those, you know, walking around with an open bucket of gasoline with a lit cigarette lighter in the other hand. It was, I kind of laughed. It's a pretty good video. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick kind of what's coming up next. The next video we're going to talk about structural engineering. I think that video is probably going to be the most important video that you'll ever watch, though it's going to be pretty boring, about building a coach like this. If you can't sit down with a computer and calculate stresses and stuff and beams and channel iron, you cannot build something like this. It's not hard to do, but a lot of people don't understand it, and I'd like to just sit down with you on a screen grab on the computer and talk you through how to do some very, very basic structural engineering. I'm not an engineer, but I've figured out enough to do a little bit of that. And we're going to sit down with this, and we're going to structurally engineer it and see why it failed, and why going from just a piece of 1/2-inch plate to a piece of 3/4 made it much, much stronger. Anyway, that'll be the second video. The third video, I got to do some work on the cabinets. There's a few things in here that I needed to carry with me that I don't have a home. And there's something I think perhaps you would like to know. It'll be probably a pretty short, boring video. We're going to do some work on the cabinets. The fourth video is going to be as detailed and well thought out and as good a video as I can possibly put out about the things I like about this coach, the things I don't like about this coach. And use this video and the next couple. If you've got any question, any kind of question about this, please ask it, because if it's not something I've thought about to answer, the answer won't be there. And I'd like to get to every single one of those in that video. Any kind of question you come up with, I want to spend the time and take the time to answer it in that video. The last one I'm going to give a walkthrough, sort of like I was a manufacturer of this coach and I was selling it, and I think that might be good for someone to be able to walk through in one video, see all the switches, where everything's laid out, how the plumbing's laid out, just give you a really nice overview of everything. I think it might help some people out that are trying to design switch panels and gauge clusters or whatnot. I think that might be pretty handy. After that, I get these done. I want to try to get all 5 of those videos done in the next couple of weeks. I have pulled the trailer that I started building, the rock crawler tiltable flat steerable trailer thing, into my shop, and I'm going to jump on that and knock that thing out. It has been hung over my head too long. I've got a few problems with it. We got to get straightened out. I'm going to get that done. We get that done, I'm going to jump into the SCADA system, and hopefully in the next maybe 3 or 4 months we'll have the SCADA system all done and YouTube. After throwing these pictures together, I think I realized why I'm so fat. The only thing I like to do is eat. Did a little bit of gold panning in Cache Creek. Found a place full of neotenic salamanders. That was pretty cool. We had a good time. It just started off a little bit stressful, but turned out really good. We didn't really have much trouble, and we got to mess around in Colorado, and that's my favorite thing in the world to do. I didn't really get a end of this shot, but appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.